Good afternoon. It's Friday, March 14th at 2:03 in the afternoon, and we are convening a meeting of the Hill Country Energy Subregional Planning Commission. We'll start our meeting with a prayer led by Commissioner McCall.
Lord, we just thank you for this day, and we just thank you for the freedom that we have to gather and to represent our constituents and in protecting them. And we just thank you that you have allowed us to find this code that we can use, and that you've allowed the commission to form and to come together and meet. So we just ask you to guide and direct our conversation, and direct us as we meet with agencies and with constituents. And thank you for everybody that has come today, and just pray that you'd bless them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Do a quick pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Good start to a meeting. And with that, we'll move on to the first order of business on our agenda is approval of the February 28th meeting minutes. Has everyone reviewed them? If you're happy with them, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of February 28th.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Just for the public's information, Commissioner Chad Carpenter is on the Teams. He's away enjoying a holiday with his family, but he is tuned in for our meeting. So thank you, sir. All right, so that moves us to the next one. And this is just a discussion of the interlocal agreement between Kerr County and Kendall County. It's really not our business per se, but just so everyone is aware that there was a discrepancy in the documents that were signed by the two judges representing each of the two counties. And we have, I believe, corrected it and approved the correct version of the interlocal agreement. So I think we're good that way. Both counties now have copies of the correct interlocal agreement. And I believe there is an amendment that has been authorized by Kendall County to make the effective date of the agreement, which was the date that it was approved in the Kendall County Court. Kerr County Commissioners Court approved the agreement on February 10th in our court. And then Kendall County approved it on February 11th in their Commissioners Court meeting. So all this amendment will do to the interlocal agreement is make it clear that the effective date of the agreement is February 11th of 2025, which that's helpful to have that clarity.
Yes.
And I'm sure that we will have a similar item on our next Kerr County Commissioners Court agenda to do the same thing and to sign off on this amendment. So glad to see the administrative things taken care of. And that brings us to the next one.
Can I?
Yes, absolutely.
Did you say that Kendall County has already? Okay.
Yes. Kendall County has signed it, and
Okay.
I'm giving a copy to Commissioner Pace's. Yes, so that he has it.
Yeah. And the intent is in Kerr County
Well,
Commissioners Court needs
Will
to
do.
authorize our judge to sign the same amendment.
got it.
Okay, and it was also pointed out that in our last meeting, we adopted the incorrect version of the
Again,
bylaws.
yeah.
The text is all the same. I think there was
It was a clerical.
a clerical error in terms of the, one of the attachments. In other words, there was something that referred to the interlocal agreement as an exhibit, which it was never intended to be an exhibit. So we are going to hopefully approve the corrected bylaws and then take everybody's approval to sign off on that. So I'm going to make a motion that we rescind our approval of the earlier version of the Hill Country Energy Sub-Regional Planning Commission's bylaws.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Great. Unanimous? Thank you. Okay. And with that, now I'm going to make a motion that we adopt the corrected version of
Here we
the
go.
Hill Country Energy Sub-Regional Planning Commission's bylaws, which is here before me.
And I'll second.
You'll second. Thank you, Commissioner McCall. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, so we'll all sign off on that. I believe I have to actually fill in the address.
For the doc,
Page
correct.
7. We'll take care of that before we leave. So with those formalities, let's have an update. We'll move on to agenda item number 4, which is an update on coordination notices sent to Public Utilities Commission of Texas, LCRA, and TCEQ. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our secretary, Lynn Bullard, because you have been chasing them. So
Okay,
tell us what you know about at least the PUCT and LCRA.
okay. Well, I'll start with the LCRA and there, well, you received the letter, which was basically
Right.
I haven't even had a chance to see what he sent to you, but what I spoke to Hondo Powell, and he's involved. Well, he said he'd actually met you in the past, and he explained what he explained to me. It was a very good, productive, positive discussion, and he said that actually the LCRA is not bound to deal with us as a 391 commission because they are not a state agency. Now, whether we want to accept that, I mean, I noticed that they are on the website lcra.org, not, Texas Gov. I don't, but anyway, that's what he said. And he also said that he claimed they have very little involvement with this, and that the only time they have anything to do with it is at the moment that a BESS facility wants to be interconnected. And if an LCRA facility is the nearby, if their lines are nearby, then they would be involved in the interconnection, and that's it. And he said that all of this was explained on this one pager, which he sent me, which y'all may have seen before in the past. And so he was saying, actually, good luck.
Already got it.
Okay. Okay.
So he did suggest that we might find it useful to talk to John Palacio, who is now the government affairs representative in and has jurisdiction over our counties. And Mr. Palacio, as maybe you know, used to be, I think, city manager of Mason at the time that they had their 391 commission. So he is familiar with 391s. And Mr. Powell said that, that we might be interested in some of the arguments that they use, such as fire, but he was just giving that as a tip. So
Okay.
the things that, the questions that I had after speaking to him were, he mentioned that it goes through the ERCOT process for connecting. In other words, LCRA is subject to the ERCOT process for connecting a power source to the grid. And ERCOT is, well, we were discussing this today. Is ERCOT actually a state agency? Are they considered a state agency? They're a 501c4 organization. And I'm not exactly sure what their status is. Do you know? I mean,
I
it seems
always assumed that they were a
state
state
agency
agency.
to me, but I thought
Okay.
LCRA was a
Yeah.
state agency. So I don't really know, but
Well,
it seems that we,
Have to study it a little bit further.
right,
But I mean, LCRA was established in 1934 by the Texas legislature. So you
Well,
would
that
think that would
sounds-
make them a state agency. but
right, right.
They're now claiming they're not. So maybe that relationship was at some point dissolved. I don't know. But we'll have
I
to look
don't
into it.
know. I think we need to look into that for sure. Were you
Right.
finished? Were you finished with your?
Well, I was finished with LCRA.
Okay, one thing I wanted to point out is that in meetings that I've had before with one of the proposed best companies, they talked about this study that they have to do through LCRA. I believe it's through LCRA, or it's basically proving whether they can upload their power. But they
Right.
talked about going through LCRA, I believe. So I don't know that
Well,
that they're not involved until the very end anyway.
yeah,
I don't know that that's true.
he might have
So-
downplayed that, but he seemed to say that,
Well-
that actually they go through the ERCOT process
Okay,
for connection.
okay.
And that it would be,
Yeah.
and that's what I wanted to know. So what is that? And actually what's ERCOT and what's LCRA,
Yeah.
so those are the questions
So
I had.
I guess what we do know is that for the most part, because of the infrastructure that LCRA operates, all these substations are
Right.
LCRA.
Right,
That's typically where all the developers
are
have
gonna
to
go,
connect or want to connect
right,
due to proximity. So you would think that they have to be involved in the process.
Yeah.
To me, the only
Before the-
question is whether they're a state agency or not.
okay.
I mean, they're definitely involved in the process.
Well, yeah, and at what point are they involved?
And
And
I also think that as pioneers in this whole process, why can we not try to work through their making them cooperate with us?
Well,
Whether they're
Yeah.
whether they're a state agency or
I
not.
yeah,
agree,
I think authority wise, we can't
we
force.
can't force.
If
No.
they're not a state agency.
I
But
have a comment.
Okay.
yes,
So, recently we had the Supreme Court ruled on the Chevron lawsuit. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Okay, well, legislative action is the only authority given to regulate anything in our country. Basically, the Chevron lawsuit, and I'm not an attorney, so I believe that they can't make their own rules that go against another government agency unless they're under a legislature action. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For instance, the EPA doesn't have the authority on their own, according to the Supreme Court, to make their own rules and do what they want with the freedom of however they want. If the legislature hasn't acted on something and voted on something, it can't be enforced. So LCRA somehow has to be regulated by a legislative body,
Right.
or they don't have any authority at all. So there's something's
true.
not,
I think
something
that's a
doesn't
good
add
point.
up.
That's a good
Right.
point.
okay. Well, as I say, I think we need to just examine it a lot closer and see what other information we can find out.
And maybe John Palacio would be the person
I
to
think-
try to talk to.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. I would somebody, because we're talking now, I don't mind reaching out to him, but if there's somebody specifically that would like to,
I think it'd be great.
okay, because I had,
Take your volunteer.
we'll at least start with that since
Sure.
he's gone there before, but he is the current government affairs representative who was the city manager of Mason, and Mason. Mhm.
And he has jurisdiction over our counties within the within the regulatory department of LCRA. of which the guy I spoke to was a senior regulatory case manager.
Okay,
So,
well, I
I'm gonna
think,
call on Barbara Ferguson, who is here as a representative of West Friedel, who is our representative and a member of the board. Is there any resource that a state representative would have to verify whether they're a state agency or not? Is that,
just
yeah,
similar to the agency, Colorado, Lower Colorado River Authority,
mhm,
and talked with her about it a little bit. And she said that they are created by acts of legislation, but they're not state agencies.
Okay.
However, then she said, but in section 391, she did not know the answer to this, but she said, if you look in section 391 of the government code, if it refers to special districts, then they are subject to the 391 commission.
hmm,
And pulling up 391, I haven't been able to read the whole thing yet, but it says government in the definitions, it says governmental unit. And it defines that as a county, a municipality, authority, district, or other political subdivision of the state. I think, just on a real quick reading of that, this is worth more digging into because I think they would fall under it.
okay, great.
well, I do think we were warned
Yes,
by Dan Byfield that we would have some finger pointing, and so
yeah,
we're gonna keep,
that's fair.
we don't take no for an answer.
Agreed. I like it.
We would keep
Right.
checking.
All right.
and also just because we have this possibility to oblige state agencies to talk to us, doesn't mean we can't talk to anybody else, right?
Well, and
Or does it? I mean, that's,
Well, if you can get somebody to voluntarily come and
Right.
talk with us, we can do that, but
right,
they're under no obligation.
right.
Unless they're a state or federal agency.
Yeah, that I know. It's just,
So,
well, so thinking back to the Waller County 391, they had TxDOT tell them no several times
right,
until they were taken to court and said, you have to, this is actually a planning commission that this is actually legitimate, and you have to oblige their concerns and coordinate with them. So we can have people tell us no, and we
Yeah.
reach out to somebody else
right,
within LCRA.
okay,
So
this one's a little bit different from TxDOT in that we have to find the avenue by which they're
Right. the gray
applicable to
zone.
391.
right, which
So,
I think Barbara just
Right.
alluded
merits further
to.
investigation.
Yeah. And it
Um,
may not be a gray zone. So.
Okay.
So you want to go to P?
Yeah, let's go to
Okay,
PUC.
so again, I experienced our pioneer character with the PUCT. And it was like pulling hair. I made a lot of several phone calls and emails, and starting with the office of the Chairman Gleason, which is where the letter had gone. And I called his executive assistant, and I also called the government affairs director. And finally, and I only heard back just this morning
Right.
from the executive assistant. And what's funny here, I mean, I would have kind of expected the government affairs director to be our contact person. You know, she had never heard of 391. She did not, she said, and I appreciated her being that forthright, you know, she
Sure.
said, I actually don't know what that
But
is.
I did see a document where, PUC was involved in, I believe it was the Waller County 391
mhm,
Well, it might-
for a transmission line. And so somebody within PUC
Right.
yes, and that's
right.
what she said.
will
Somebody
be
will know.
well
but
aware
I
of
don't
what a
know,
391
you know,
sub-regional
but
planning
in
commission
any
is and
case,
their legal obligations.
right.
In the end, we have been given, you know, to a contact person,
Okay.
and that, which I disagree with actually, but we'll see. That person is in the public engagement department. Public engagement department. That doesn't sound right. I mean, his name is Mike Holt. I have his phone number and I'll give it to you and you can take the next step.
Okay.
But I don't think that's where we want to be.
Right.
So, but anyway,
did they give any
they
indication?
got that far.
Are they going to give us a formal response and send a letter in reply?
Well, I don't know. This is the Mike Holt, and that's his phone number and his email. And, you know, whether he gets in touch with us, or whether you would like to take the first step.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I think if we're waiting for someone to reach out, we'll be waiting for a
Yeah,
long time.
exactly.
So,
or I can continue if you want me to, but,
well, I think probably at this stage,
I've
pursue
done-
them and see if they're going to send us a formal response because that's what we expect.
all right.
In the meantime, I'll start working on a second letter that's a little bit more forceful. With perhaps a copy of
Well, yeah, they think
the Waller
handled
County
it.
judgment that was given by that federal
in
judge.
Travis County,
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
Just
it
make
seems
it crystal
like
clear that they're obligated.
It's that they have thought that this is like public, you know, they're, right? This was a misapprehension.
Right. Okay,
So,
very good. I'll go ahead and give
That's some
The
good
update on
information. Thank you.
PPEQ. Anything
you
else
for all
on
that.
PUC?
that's it.
Okay, well, thank you. I think Linda's done a great job.
Thank you
Chasing down these.
very much.
So TCEQ, I got a call from them. Guess that was yesterday. No, 3/12. So that would have been Wednesday. And the call came through from a Kelly Cook, who is the Deputy Director, Critical Infrastructure, and Craig Pritzloff, Director of the Office of Compliance and Enforcement. And they acknowledged receipt of the coordination letter that was sent. They provided some background on TCEQ's permitting authority. And, you know, I informed them of the Kerr County resolution that was sent to them back in August of 2024, August 26, 2024. And then I also had to inform them of TCEQ's response of September 11th of 2024, wherein at that stage, TCEQ basically said they had no role to play in permitting anything because these developers aren't asking for an air quality permit. And of course, if they're not asking, then TCEQ has no role to play in permitting. And logically, none of the developers are going to ask for an air quality permit because their facilities don't normally generate any kind of hazardous waste or anything of concern until there's a runaway fire.
That's right. And the talks.
And so anyway, but it was a really good discussion with these two gentlemen. They assured me they were going to send a formal response. We talked about being more proactive regarding studies of the worst case, which is a thermal runaway fire. And of course, again, developers aren't going to ask to permit that, so they're not going to ask for any kind of approvals, but they were well aware of the California Moss Point fire, which we talked about as an example of what we don't want to happen. And so hard to say what'll happen, but I think they probably will come for a coordination meeting and we can talk about how we might be able to engage TCEQ in looking into battery energy storage facilities a little closer and maybe doing some study or at least looking at other studies that have already been done. I don't know. We'll see.
And wouldn't they be involved if the toxic chemicals that they use run down the hill for the proposed battery storage and comfort and end up in the Guadalupe?
I think they would get involved, but unfortunately, that's way late in the day.
Sure, but
We
since,
want them to be involved on. the
no,
front.
right. But since we have
Yeah.
some
So.
conversations, I think that's something good to bring up.
Absolutely. And they seem receptive.
Mhm.
You know, they seem very positive and they're well aware of the issues and
Well, good.
share some level of concern at least. I guess we'll see what their formal response says, and if they're come for a coordination meeting. They clearly are a state agency.
Right.
So I think we can hold their feet to the fire to formally meet with us. So I guess, any other comments?
My recommendation
Yes,
is that we actually have a case study and we do it on Moss Landing. And we invite these agencies to that, either remotely or in person. We try to make it easy for them to attend through MS Teams. Because the easier we do that, the better chance, and we keep it very defined or discreet. If we invite a certain agency like LCRA, you know, they may or may not come to a Moss Landing review or case study. Understand what happened, what's the fallout, and this, how it could happen to us and why they should be involved. There should always be a call to action after it. I recommend we have that as one of our meetings.
yeah, I guess, can you kind of elaborate on what you have in mind for a case study?
Yeah.
Is this a tabletop kind of thing? Looking
It
at
is.
the existing
Yeah. It-
information that's already available out there?
Yeah, it'd be some video, some compilation, some brief that's put together, and we go through the sequence of actions. So they understand how large it was
Yeah.
over time, it was built, what happened during the immediate event. And then how long it went, and what are the impacts of it currently? And who has exposure in all of this? And I think they'll all find that there are many different state agencies or other non-state agencies that have exposure.
Well,
And then we come out with a call to action. Based upon this, if that happened here, what would be your actions, LCRA, TCEQ, ERCOT? That's what we want to know from you.
okay,
That's the call to action. Or no, that's our question to them, why they would be coming. The call to action would be, don't you think you should change your role in this? LCRA, TCEQ, ERCOT, and how do we do that? Does it require legislation or does it require their actual own action? What are they entitled to do so?
I like it.
It's gonna take work.
And
Who's getting to it?
I mean, that's kind of my role.
Volunteering to
Yeah.
take the lead on that, and I think there are a lot of other people out there that will be more than willing to help.
Mhm.
So we just need to kind of tap into that. There, I've already gotten a lot of emails about that Moss fire.
Yeah,
So
too.
I know there's a lot out there, and I have to believe that there are groups already studying it, so it's
Oh,
just finding out who they are
absolutely.
and seeing if we can touch base and get whatever they've already done. And
Ideally, we get somebody from Moss Creek, Monterey.
sure,
Moss Landing.
Yeah,
Sure.
to talk us through this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But this is not something we do in 2 weeks. No, this is something
Probably
that takes a month to pull together.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're still going to be dealing with this issue a month from now, so let's get started.
Well, timing is a concern because did I understand you? I mean, the idea, the call to action is not just tell us what you would do if this happens here, but tell us how you would prevent this from happening here, correct?
Somewhat. Legislative action within the current session, I got it. We need different bills. We found some holes. We try to push that up. That's why we're here together as a commission. But then we flip the coin on them, saying, what can you do under your authority to better protect us from this kind of event? We leave that up to them to say, well, I guess we could, you know, if we're TCEQ, what could we do? If you're LCRA, what could you do? To say, what preventative measure can you take legally within your own role and authority?
Right.
Do you really need a legislative injunction to make you do something? Or what power do you have?
Right.
Well, and it might be, well, I guess we could take a look at different things or we communicate a little bit better. I think we'll hear different things from different agencies.
Right. I guess.
Give them the chance to take action by
And let them,
clarifying of that.
and let them see what the information you're able to put together. Because even if they don't show up, I think they'll be watching these 391s. I think they'll
Well.
be looking at what you uncover.
Sure.
I
I
mean,
really do.
But we have to
I-
insist that they show up.
No, I know,
And
but
we can
even
give
if
the
they,
same information multiple times, to multiple groups,
Right.
That's okay.
right, well,
well, I agree with all of that, but I really feel like, our situation is so serious that I would like, I do think it's important to try to influence this legislation and, because, I mean, we don't have a lot of time. And like, and we won't maybe have all but the legislation is there. I don't, know if we can, submit amendments, for example, that the Texas Utilities Code, and there's a piece of legislation which attempts to set up a permitting process, if that could require an EIS, environmental impact statement.
Good.
Why couldn't we already, I mean, do that? That's, I'm just worried that, I mean, I definitely want to take this step, and I think it's a good approach to them too. Just saying, what can you do under your current authority to help us out here? But I also kind of want to cover the other base if possible, as soon as possible. Do you understand? Do you think it has to wait? Like to try to go after legislative authority, for example, just an example, for environmental impact assessments as part of a permitting process.
I think you can do things in parallel. You can still try to do that.
Right.
I think we're
Okay.
rapidly running out of time on the
Yeah.
legislative aspect of things. We're going to talk about that here shortly. It's a
Okay.
separate agenda item.
Okay.
We also probably should come up with, what are we looking for if we have to deal with a mess? EIS is one,
Mhm.
reclamation bond is
Yes.
another.
Yeah.
We put our targets up there and see where they fit. Who would take this action and how would we get that in?
Mhm.
Containment, water on site.
Yep.
Man in the loop. Distance, 1,500 feet.
Yeah.
We come up with, these are the minimum things we're looking for. Now, how does it address legislatively or internal action
Mhm.
by agencies involved? I think as a body, we should maybe, do work on that in the meantime, where we try to organize a case study and
Mhm.
figure out, what are we actually asking for?
Yeah, for sure.
EIS is one, definitely. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
target, we all know that.
yeah,
Okay. So that's kind of the update on coordination notices.
I did have one other question, and that is about ERCOT.
Right.
Should we approach them?
It's just gonna go that way, but I mean, that's the obvious
I thought you were
question.
leaving.
I think we've always contemplated meeting with ERCOT. They're really, they seem to be the driver
Yeah.
behind
I
all this stuff. So,
I think it would be good to,
should we go ahead and send a meeting notice to them?
I think we should, and I think we should give them the information LCRA gave us. And let's just say, LCRA told us that you're responsible. Let's just,
That's a good.
let them defend themselves. Or anyway, I just think it would be a good way to
Right.
add that to that and
Yeah.
to the letter.
I'll work with you to draft that letter.
Okay.
You got a good angle on it. And we'll try to get it out probably next week, since today's Friday. And see where that goes.
Okay.
Any other state agencies that we should be calling for coordination? State Fire Marshal,
Hmm.
we
Yeah.
need them to do more. I mean, I'm very thrilled with the response I got from Kelly Stalder with the State Fire Marshal's office. But I guess what I'm thinking is, in terms of the various codes, are they enough? I mean, they're not real clear about containment, for example. And the volume of water that should be on site. That's all left up to kind of interpretation, if you will. Should it be? I mean, those are just my initial thoughts. There's probably lots of other things.
TxDOT gets brought into this surprisingly, through road permitting. They're dealing with this in Bandera currently with a solar plant that's going in.
And Scott's involved with
Oh, yeah.
that road permit.
Oh, yeah, spoke to the TxDOT area engineer, and he had a lot of questions about BES and SRPC. What is our role? What is involvement? He was the only state agency representative to show up. And they're really leaning on TxDOT hard to not approve a roadway permit for the solar farm. But
Do you know why they need a roadway permit? Is it a new road specific for that
Oh, yeah.
solar farm?
so they're trying to say, don't approve this, and under what authority do they have to deny it?
Right.
And so right now they're struggling with an answer in response to that.
Would that apply to any facility that's adjacent to a road that could impact even?
Probably not a
Okay.
question for me,
Let me back up, since
probably
we
a
have
question for
input
TxDOT.
from the public. Please state your name and
Oh,
where you're from.
so, my apologies. Bruce Knightsky from Gillespie County.
Okay,
I have been with some before, you know, thank you.
Yeah.
For the openness.
Thank you for coming.
Just a inquiry, if, in Harper, the facility is gonna be right next to, two highways. And so would that qualify, for TxDOT to be involved?
It's most likely going to be a new road permit. It'll still be our area engineer. So from that perspective, Andres Gonzalez is the area
well,
engineer.
that's our area. Is he cover
Yes,
Gillespie as well?
he does. So he is probably more suitable to answer that question than a member of our board.
I'm meeting with him on Tuesday or Wednesday. I can ask him.
But I know he's dealing with this on a different issue and has attended some of their meetings in Bandera.
So are you suggesting that we need to call TxDOT for a coordination meeting or clarify it?
I think too, when I talked to John Palacio, because I
Yes.
think TxDOT was part of their CREZ line. They formed their 391 specifically for the CREZ line, not the BES. They did not use their 391 for the BES. It was already built
Okay.
by the time they realized, and were not able to use it. But they did use it for a CREZ line, and I thought they mentioned TxDOT. So I don't know if that's because they have to, I don't know. So when I talk to John, I will ask if TxDOT was involved and how.
They play a minor role, and it'd be interesting in a case study is to have them invited as well. Because I think what would be important is to understand roles and responsibilities of approval or coordination.
Yeah.
And all the different agencies that are involved with that. So the public understands
Sure.
how this thing comes from an idea into a plant.
Right. I mean, one
Illuminate a lot.
One of the things I was hoping that we would get from LCRA, for example, what was an actual list of here's all the facilities and proposals that they're aware of that they've received till date in Kerr and Kendall County. Because it gets difficult to go out to TxDOT and say, well, we want to talk to you about our concerns, and then we'll, okay, which one?
Yeah.
Without having a specific project in mind. So, but on the other hand, I will say that one of the other positives that came out of my discussion with TCEQ is they told me they've been tracking all of the best developments,
Oh.
statewide, really, and that they would be willing to share a list of those that are
Wow.
that they're aware of in Kerr and Kendall County.
That's TCEQ said that?
Yeah. CQ.
Okay. It'd be interesting to reflect if that's different from the ERCOT list.
Exactly. I don't know.
Or
They,
not.
they just said that they have been tracking it. How, they didn't mention. I didn't ask.
And just for clarification, LCRA's Director of Energy, who's TSC, Miranda, who I spoke to, she directed me to the ERCOT list. So that is the master list.
Okay.
What's been planned, what's been canceled, or what's in operation. Because they maintain the master list, so which the links are on that PowerPoint.
So
Does that mean-
ERCOT is important.
It'd be interesting, Commissioner Jones mentioned the other day that there's one coming into precinct 1. Was that one we were already aware of, or is that a
No.
whole new one?
That is new.
So was
So
that
we
on the
should see
ERCOT
that on
list?
the updated ERCOT list.
Do you have a link to that list or you just,
In that.
it's in that PowerPoint? Okay.
And that link is gonna pull open 2 different Excel files with multiple tabs.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably worth
And-
a later event showing
What-
everyone how to get to that.
When
What
I-
to look at.
It's
When
kind
I
of
put
hard
it
to,
on the PowerPoint, it lost the link
yeah,
the way it did. So you would have to
I'm gonna,
type that and then,
yeah.
I'm gonna try to re-upload it now that I put the video. I did put the video on our website
Yeah.
finally.
or,
Finally got in there. So I should be able to link it.
yeah, I mean, back to
We'll work on
not
it.
being able to share documents other ways, but,
Right, right.
otherwise, be happy to share the presentation and from his presentation, you can go straight to the
Yeah.
websites.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I have it, so
Okay.
we
It's-
should,
It's
then you have
still, I mean, I did type out that whole thing and it's still pretty difficult to
navigate it.
navigate in there, so
What
be
to get there,
helpful
yeah.
Mhm.
if you could give us a little.
Well, when you finally get to the tab, the correct tab, I wonder if you can save that page or send that page.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I had looked at it, but I mean, it's a big, massive spreadsheet,
It's
so it's not gonna,
Mhm.
It's
cut and
over-
paste well on a
Yeah.
website or anything.
But if
Separately, I
you
mean,
could
have to
get to
open it
that,
up and then navigate within it.
I wonder if we'll try it. We'll see.
Yeah. No, you can open it up.
And also for your meeting with John Palacios, maybe you could also ask him if he could, since he's responsible for our counties, if he could get a list.
Okay.
All you
Yeah.
can do is ask, and it'd be interesting if they're relying on the same source, if it's
Right.
all ERCOT, or
Right.
do they have other information?
And
Say,
John Palacios is ERCOT?
No,
No.
he's LCRA,
Government Affairs.
Yeah.
LCRA.
Okay, thank you.
He is, what's his title?
okay,
So yes, to answer the question, should we target ERCOT? We have to.
Yeah.
They are the prime
Right,
approver
okay,
for this. And then figure out what ERCOT meetings are already happening on this. How do we track that? Because I think they have a whole subgroup that does best for ERCOT.
Oh, I would think so.
And then how do we attend some of the meetings?
Yeah.
They're gonna have open meetings
uh-huh.
and figure out where and when we travel for that.
Yeah.
Or send a rep.
good. All right, so moving on the agenda, the next one is item number 5, potential experts for coordination testimonies. So, I mean, we've already had some discussion about the Moss Landing and having somebody perhaps testify there who's done some actual studies. We have talked in the past a little bit about the state fire marshal. Kendall County has a fire marshal. I would suggest perhaps one of our fire chiefs, preferably maybe right now, the head of CARFA, which is all of our fire chiefs here in per county anyway, from all the different volunteer groups. And Brian Alexander is the current president, so he might be the best one to talk a little bit about our volunteer fire departments who typically cover the rural unincorporated areas of the county, which Bess is targeting, and what their capability is to combat any kind of a fire that might occur.
We can also have our fire marshal. He's been working with another fire expert. And we have adopted some new fire regulations and updated fire information, which I did not bring with me, but anyway, I can talk with him and see if he would be willing to discuss
Yep.
what they know how they can address in the capacity of having a fire marshal.
Can I just ask, what these experts are for that we're discussing right now? Is it to inform ourselves? Is it to come to the meetings with the state agencies?
Yeah.
Things like different experts for different occasions,
Possibly, but I kind of have in mind for them to attend a meeting with some of these agencies,
Uh-huh,
so that we can present, why are we concerned?
uh-huh,
Why do we not want this stuff?
right.
And see where that goes. It'd be great if they would kind of see the light and recognize that there are some legitimate concerns
Right.
that are currently not being adequately addressed. Maybe they can't be, I don't know. But I'm sure they could do a lot more than they currently are, is the main point.
Chris Dyer. From an impact perspective, owns the home in Mason
Oh, yeah.
in the video.
What's his name?
Chris
Dyer? Dyer. And
Yeah, he'd be good.
I've already spoke to him. He said he'd come down whenever.
Yeah.
To kind of get us an expert study and impact what it feels like to have.
Yeah.
That growth of a battery energy storage went
Yeah.
from 10 to 100 megawatts in his backyard.
Yeah.
What it did to his property, how he engaged locally. That would be interesting to hear. And what he's left with.
Do you see that as something we should just engage with him as our commission, or is that for a coordination meeting with?
I would say just
or something.
from a separate meeting, that would eat up an hour.
Yeah.
Honestly, where he would provide expert testimony,
No doubt.
what it feels like as a constituent to live
Sure.
with this.
But on the other hand, the main benefit of having that kind of testimony isn't necessarily to convince us, because we're already pretty convinced. It is to convince PUC or ERCOT why this is such a major concern and so many people are up in arms.
Mhm.
So maybe that's, whenever we have the first meeting with PUC or ERCOT, go ahead.
Up to you.
That's something no, it's not up to me. It's up to us.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
open. I'm just talking.
He definitely wants to come down. There's already
Yeah.
been a very good impact video made that was shared in Comfort.
Sure.
That would be something that we could hang on, perhaps with his permission,
Mhm.
on the website.
He was actually at our our last commissioner's court meeting, talking in public comment, so.
Good.
If you get his permission, I'll put it on the website. Have to give me a link to it.
Okay.
That's easy.
Well, speaking of videos, do you think that we might use that forum for people from the Moss Landing area, Monterey and so on? Because, obviously, we don't have a penny at this point to bring anybody out here,
Right.
and they're not gonna pay
And-
for it themselves.
Yeah.
So,
And I do envision, using them through either Teams
Teams.
uh-huh,
or if they have just some video resources, whatever, that they've already done it, good. We can use those too. Some of these groups may already have some presentations and
yes, there are.
studies done. I don't know. We need to tap into it, see what we can find out.
I mean, I might be able to help a little bit there. I know
Sure.
you can too, but I've sailed out of Moss Landing a few times
Okay.
and
Wow.
I have friends out there.
Well, reach out to them.
And you know, if I have a good idea what it is that I'm asking, I can,
Well, that one in particular, any kind of study, environmental impact of the fire. And they've had multiple fires at the same
yes, they have, and
facility.
they've
Yeah.
been
So my guess
reignited.
is that, there probably are some earlier studies
Yeah.
that were already carried out.
I think it was the fourth one,
Yeah,
and it reignited in February.
so,
So,
yeah, it'd be real useful to try to tap into that if you have any connections
Well-
and whatever they can refer to you
okay,
and then coordinate with Jeff
okay.
on that.
I mean, they've put up a really good website and, you know, with an otter, with
Okay, well,
the otter. Very sad situation.
bet.
Anyway, okay.
other thoughts of other experts that we should try to rein in? Go ahead, Bruce.
Bruce Knights, again, Gillespie County, Greater Edwards Aquifer Alliance. Have you been in contact with them?
Not over this, but we know who they are.
Yeah.
Okay. I think they're starting to become aware.
Do you have a particular contact or anybody that you're aware of that
Their
wants to be involved? or-
Their website is www.aquiferalliance.com. And the person, I'm trying to recall her first name, but her last name is Peace, P-E-A-C.
Annalisa,
Annalisa, yeah.
I believe I have her information. Give that to you.
Okay.
Chad, go ahead.
No, I was just saying Annalise,
Okay.
but she is well aware of this. As well as all the other development, like home developments and stuff like that. And she's working on a lot of different things right now. I don't think that she's working on BEST specifically.
I do think I have another contact though that that could help us, that has worked with her. So I'm gonna get that for you.
Okay. Sounds good. Any others? That brings us to Linda Bullard's
Me?
favorite topic. Legislation.
Legislation. We pretty well covered it.
Well, I mean, I don't know quite what you intended. I went through each and every one of them. I mean, they're all better than nothing, but there are some that do a lot more than others.
Well, what I intended when I asked for it to be on the agenda was
Yeah.
basically to ask ourselves the extent to which we want to be involved in this legislative process. I mean, I felt like, so to me, it seems like an important thing because, for example, 1343 is, setting up a permitting process for the Texas Utilities Code. It's adding to it to cover BESS, and that's obviously going to affect what we can do, because it's going to establish what the developer has to comply with and doesn't have to do. And so it seems to me like it's in our interest to try to get in at this level to try to give ourselves a better, playing field a little later on. But this wasn't like maybe specifically in our remit, but I wanted to know if people agreed with trying to be involved. And for example, in order to do that, I need to better understand the time frame. I mean, I assume because now there's 16 or 17 different pieces of legislation, that there's going to be some combining. For example, the 500 meters can be combined into the 1343, and there are many examples of that. But whether, anyway, what the time frame is on that, how it would work, whether if we had things that we wanted to amend on 1343, we could ask Wes Verdell, who's a member of this commission, to carry that forward. And so it's mainly just to get a sense of whether we want to be involved at the legislative level. And if so, I mean, out of all these bills, there's basically only one that I felt like we might want to review it. It's like you said, see what we want. Is it in there? If it's not in there, you know, draft amendments that would get it in there, such as all permitting procedures require an EIS, you know, and so that's basically it.
Like to have a public hearing at the very earliest stages, just to make people aware what's coming. EIS is certainly a requirement, but we have to be a lot more specific about what the EIS would entail.
Yes.
You know, because they are not going to prepare an EIS based on a thermal runaway fire. You know, they kind of, in Harper, they talked about the result of a fire and that they would have systems to mitigate against the fire, but they don't actually go into, if you have a significant fire like the Moss Point, what the impact would be. So, and of course, I don't anticipate that they ever will, but I don't know. Anyway. Yeah.
Bruce Knightsky again, Gillespie County. The one thing when we've been having conversations with them, they always skip past the idea that the batteries catch fire first. They go to, it's not going to be hazardous when it burns. It's not going to explode. They always skip down the road and they forget the original. When we were talking with the East Point representative at your last meeting, I asked him specifically about Moss Landing and he blamed it on the building. He said there was an older building, 1950s construction, not suitable for the batteries, but he skipped past the whole idea. If the batteries hadn't burned in the first place, there wouldn't have been a problem. That's the entire issue from my point of view, is that the batteries burn and they skip past it. And somehow we either have to get them under oath, under deposition, something. One of the ways that I thought was using the underwriter's laboratory standard, UL 1973 is the battery standard. And that one says that no samples shall burn. And my personal opinion, well, I'm a retired engineer, and professional opinion is that if they are conducting tests correctly and the samples don't burn, then everything produced from that process should not burn.
You said 1973?
Yes, sir. And there's a companion one.
There's not a single lithium battery that would pass that, would it?
Well, my understanding is that one was started out before these lithium batteries came online. So it's more, it was geared more towards the lead acid batteries, the car batteries, those types of batteries. And they have valve regulated batteries. They have several different types. But then this one comes on to that standard because they chose to put it on there. There's also a UL 9540 and a 9540A. And those are associated with that.
Maybe before we move on, legislation and bills to address Barbara Ferguson. How do we best support the bills by Troxclair and Verdell as a body?
Is it going up there? Is it getting online? Is it getting signatures petitioned? What do you think?
Well, it overwhelmed, the message that's always sent out is phone call is very effective, actually talking with their offices. So I would suggest that anybody looking at your website, listening to these meetings and all, call Verdell's office, but also look at who your state or your Senate representative is and call them, ask them to support. They will be looking for sponsors for these bills that that would be a senator who would sponsor and help usher through the bill. So the more visibility these bills get, then the easier it is for them to get pushed through. The that list of people that I gave you, calls to all of their offices, create the same results. You know, let them know you appreciate them supporting it. And if you are represented by somebody who's not on that list, call their office and say, I want to see my representative's name on that list. I want to know that you're going to support this bill. So, and I know, you know, we take in the calls we get. I'm new to this job, and the calls we get are just amazing. And they have a very good computer system that everything gets put in. Every single call gets put in, and the relationship to what bill gets put in. And those get printed out whenever the rep wants them, and they know exactly how many people said they're for or against, and they can read the notes of what they said about each of the bills. So it isn't just a matter of somebody taking down a note. It is information that's available to the reps really fast. So please make those phone calls.
And I guess right now it's about House Bill 1378 is getting a companion bill from maybe Senator Flores.
Yes, that would be good.
Targeting him, asking for.
Companion bill.
Barbara, did you say like today was the last day?
Yes, that's the part of the problem. Today's the last, as a matter of fact, I think at 2:00 it ended. But they can sign on. There are still ways that they can support, even though they might not be able to file a companion bill now. So sponsorship is one thing, one way they can show support. But filing the bills now, I think we're past that point as 2:00 today.
But when the bills are being discussed, there's an opportunity for amendment.
Right. Yeah. And even if people know, and I don't know about the signing on, if that can continue, I think perhaps it can. They can't put in a new bill,
Right.
but they might be able to continue to show their support by signing on. And I'd have to check into that, but that's what I was led to believe today, that can continue. And if you were interested, this is very, very early in the process, but the Representative Verdel's bill was requested. They did request the hearing today. And the reps, from what I understand, they select certain bills that they really want, and they request the hearings. And his bill, he did push that forward today in requesting the hearing.
It's
So
a hearing by.
the committee. And this was assigned to state affairs. So if you do go online to watch the progress or anything, state affairs is the committee who's going to be hearing these types of bills.
Which bill is it that he's
It should be 1378, which you said is his bill. That was
It's
just
his
written-
bill, which is 1378, and that's the 500-yard bill.
okay?
And I don't know if we would want to follow this type of support, but on Tuesday night this week, Hood County adopted, they don't have a 391 commission, but they adopted two resolutions unanimously as county commission to support some of these best bills. Two Senator Birdwell's bills in the Senate, and then Claire and Verdell in the House, two of their bills. So, and in fact, I brought a copy of their resolutions. So they were going to be forwarding their resolutions, and maybe, I don't know, is that something, could we as a commission make a resolution in support? Would that help?
Normally it's at the county.
Only the county. We can't make a resolution?
I won't say that yes or no.
But the county commissioners, that's something that they could do.
Is that something we as a commission would like to propose to our counties? Or do you think we should stay away from that?
I mean, that's a great question. That's, you can always propose it, you know. Be up to the commission.
Would y'all like to
to
see,
decide.
let me see if I can, my hands on those.
Hood County, you said?
Hood County. And boy, did they, it was really interesting.
You have a copy of their resolution?
Yes, I did. I do have. I can, do you, should I think they're the same. I mean, they're different.
What, I think what you can do. I think, we can send this. I think we can have it, sent to you, get, that's a different one.
Oh,
They're
I
not the
see.
same. I see.
One, well, they're different. One has risks, it lists a whole bunch of risks. One is for the Senate bills and one for the House, but they're not, but I can't send them to y'all, right?
No, I just, what, I believe you can send them through, somebody who would blind copy all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
and we
want
can't
to
do that.
Audrey and.
Do you actually, would you like them to do that? Oh, sure. Now I can. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. So,
I mean,
The Open Meetings Act.
because there may
Somebody
be
can
other
send them
things,
to us,
yes.
It's just you
that-
can't.
I'm sorry,
They can be all shared. It's, you can't be the one that
I
does it.
can't,
right. So
But
I can let you
ask
know.
pretty much anybody to do it.
okay. So there may be more things I need to share.
If you ever.
Yeah,
if
you can
have-
just share them. We have, so we can give you the email. for that.
Well, I have.
I think you have it. Okay.
So, but anyway, you would like these two.
They're just supporting.
Resolution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good. I think it couldn't hurt to ask our counties to pass that.
Right, because there's something else is that our county, well, we had this come up in our last county commissioners court that, one of the commissioners, and it was mentioned here today, he's got a vest coming in and he wants to work on that himself, right? So the court is still staying in the issue aside from this commission.
Right. 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 I mean, right. Right. Like we have our fire marshal and we
Right.
adopted fire code too.
Exactly.
So yes.
Right. Yeah.
No, I think our counties have backfills in the past for legislation, so.
Oh, I can't recall. Our county's commissioners would bring it back. in.
Yeah. Maybe it's not.
I mean, it hasn't, if,
I-
go way back though.
Yeah, I think ours had to do with the judge helping write one, and that's why.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that we actually had a resolution, but I do that.
Well, it's just an
Yeah,
idea.
I think that's a great idea.
I'm not sure why our board couldn't have a resolution. For example, when I called Senator Flores' office this morning, I said that I was one of his constituents. I'm a Kerr County Commissioner, and then I'm also the president of the Hill Country Energy Subregional Planning Commission. And that I would ask him to consider a Senate bill in support of 1378 or 43 or both. I actually wasn't sure, so I said both.
Well, they're both good.
But, you know, I mean,
Right.
hey, if you've got a little added influence, why not use,
Right.
you know, thank you. So I just trying to think out of the box here, but I don't know why we couldn't do it as a commission, to be honest.
Mhm.
We have our own resolution already,
Yeah, right.
but if we wanted to have a resolution in support of any of the legislation, put it this way, it would happen a lot quicker than waiting for both of our commissioners
Yeah,
Exactly, that's
to
true.
meet and deliberate.
From our experience, I would fully agree.
Right.
So,
And-
okay,
and
So,
so we need to draft.
you know, maybe, I wonder if we could use our county commissioner titles on a resolution from the board. So that it's a little bit clearer that effectively our two counties are represented
Right.
in this commission.
Well,
I don't.
you're
it's just
identified as
something-
commissioners on the website, you know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Something to think about.
So I'll say these.
Or we just have to make sure it's clear in the whereas that, this commission was constituted by Kerr County Commissioners Court and the Kendall County Commissioners Court.
Right.
Uh,
And represented by the commissioners.
with two commissioners from each court being members of this board. So,
Mhm.
then you don't have to have specific titles.
I think we should look within three ninety-one, within what, Dan Byfield's recommendations are as well, to see about resolutions, action as a body to send out. Because I don't remember, and I read through both, but I don't remember seeing anything about resolutions.
I agree. I don't remember seeing anything about resolutions, but that doesn't,
Like, why wouldn't they?
well,
we made our
then why wouldn't you be able to then?
We made our,
If it doesn't say you can't,
right,
Yeah,
we made our own,
and we did,
so I don't think there's,
and it's posted on the website, so,
yeah,
but we can consult with Dan before we do it.
okay.
Uh,
Seems like that ground's been broken. I think so.
yeah, we just want. Yeah.
Clarify it. Okay, yeah, good. Great suggestion.
The only problem, like I said before, is we're rapidly running out of time here on these bills. So
Well-
if we're gonna have any influence, we would have to act quickly and
I mean, that's what I'd actually like to, I know when is the last day that they can be filed, but how long is
well, who knows when they'll come to the floor.
how does that, do you have any idea, like ballpark?
No, this is the flow chart for a bill.
Oh,
Yeah. And then through the Senate and
it
so
takes a long.
it's a long time. Yeah, there will be committee hearings, and they get first reading and second reading. The bills had the first reading. It gets the reading before it's, put in committee.
Uh-huh.
And, so, but then it will go on, it'll go to floor consideration, then second reading, a third reading, and then, passed on to the Senate. So it kind of goes on and on.
So, and in this whole long process, I mean, are amendments allowed at every stage of the process, basically?
I wouldn't say at every
Every
stage,
stage, but
but there are
right.
stages at
Right.
which, So,
But a
They can
bill's
get
not
improved.
Successful until it's made it out of committee. Correct, into the Senate.
right.
Are there any opportunities for us to present ourselves to that committee?
Absolutely. You can have
In person.
witnesses in the committees. And that's, you're bringing that up, brought another avenue of contact is to look up the state affairs
Mhm.
committee members. Because that's where it's going to be heard,
Uh-huh.
and perhaps contact your state affairs committee members.
And say, when would be the best time for some of us to present ourselves in support of this?
Yeah. And
Okay,
I can make some inquiries about that too, from
sure.
State Representative Riddell's perspective and, but letting them know that there's a lot of support behind this, I think,
Oh, yeah. My only complaint is it doesn't go far enough. I mean, I
Absolutely.
certainly support pretty much all these bills. It just,
Yeah.
Well, let's pass them all.
yeah, ask them all. For example, I think it was the removal of House Bill 3422, removal of best facilities on leased properties. That's the problem. It only addresses leased properties.
Exactly.
What about when they buy the land? Because a
Right.
lot of them are buying the land.
And that would be a TCEQ, issue, wouldn't it be?
Not
Like-
necessarily. I mean, it's a removal thing, so
Well,
they might,
reclamation.
they might get involved in some form of inspection or follow up to make sure it was done properly, but the legislation itself has to be enacted. Otherwise, there's no guarantee that anybody's gonna do anything clean.
Exactly.
They're just gonna pass the
So
problem
it
to
should be
somebody
part of the
else.
permitting process, both for leased and for owned out.
You would
land.
like to think that it was part of the
Of the
approval or
permitting process.
permitting process, sure.
Right,
Right now, there's no requirement.
right.
And in
so
the absence of a
there has to
requirement,
be.
I guarantee it won't be done.
Well,
And who knows what they'll do,
okay, well.
which is
So
why we all have concerns about it.
exactly, and why I'm thinking that what we need to do is put them all together, things like that.
Yeah.
And try to get them in as amendments to 1343. So,
Well, I'm not sure at what stage they're gonna start combining things. I think probably for now, you might have to work them individually. Even. I don't know. If you try to just focus on people that have been involved in 1343, you're gonna miss Representative Gerdes, who's been working on 3422. I don't know.
But I think I think all of these are gonna come before state affairs. And so talking to state affairs about it, that this is our concern. We need you to look at all these bills and, you know.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
So when I'm looking at LCRA and ERCOT, and defining how they were created, so none of those organizations are truly actual government agencies. They're all appointed boards. I think you're going to see some movement in this legislative session. The battery storage is moving at such a fast rate with really no regulations that the legislature needs and almost has to do some adoption of regulations for it, because what is it, 900 coming to Texas?
922.
And so you can't have, the problem we're going to run into is the same issue I was talking about earlier. An appointed board doesn't have legislative authority. They can only work within the defined limits of what they were appointed for by legislature.
Sure.
And so some of these bills that are being proposed, we might need to amend a lot of the language during the hearings to put some enforcement in there that, you know, requires the EIS or something like that, because there's little to no regulation. And I don't know that these governing bodies or non-governing appointed boards have really any authority to deny these companies. That's what I'm afraid of.
Well, I also wondered if they were starting broad to get it through, and then just to get it through, if it was too narrow of a scope. It
Yeah.
seems to me in the past that legislation hasn't passed because it's so narrow. You know, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. It's not,
I
it's
had a
not.
conversation with Representative Verdell along those lines. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, he was afraid that if he tried to go too deep and do too much, it would never.
Never
make it
go
out of
anywhere.
committee.
Right,
And hence he was trying to
right. So I
do
think that,
something that would actually get passed.
so I wonder if like you kind of look at all these and you think, well, this addresses this addresses,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
so maybe,
There needs to be an omnibus bill.
so maybe that it's all working together.
One big
Support 'em all.
beautiful bill.
We do.
There you go.
We do. It just doesn't seem like,
And I appreciate that, but I'm gonna stay in my,
On that. I'm not a legislator.
that out.
Well, they do, but they
We can
give
only ask
encouragement.
them what we're looking for as far as
Sure.
in terms of protections against pests.
the good part of all of this though, is that a lot of bills are addressing this. So it's not, it is
A lot of
at
people are
least
focused on it.
coming,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a concern. And so our legislators are seeing that, I think.
Well,
Obviously.
consider us. We're elected officials that have legislative authority, and we're limited by our own state legislature on what our authority is.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying is all these different appointed boards have limits to their enforcement legally. And as much as I don't like big government, there are times where you need some regulation, and it needs to happen in this session because 2 years from now, it's too late.
Right,
It's true.
right.
Big ask.
Well, I know, and there really needs to be a kingpin in charge of this, whether at the state level. And it needs to be a senator. It needs to be a powerful senator. We want to do that.
I don't know. I don't know.
It'd be wonderful.
But what you might end up finding is, we get something across the finish line and then it gets vetoed because the governor really wants these battery storage to stabilize ERCOT. So there's some powers working against everything that we're trying to fight, because that's what they actually want, to stabilize the grid.
Well, that's actually, I
Build
don't know if we
fossil
should go
fuel
into it now, but
nuclear plants.
I had a question on that.
And eventually we have to promote better alternatives, is what Commissioner Pace is speaking to. And I agree. There should be better alternatives.
But the demand for power is just going exponentially. So, if they don't
Right here.
get serious about it.
That is a double the size
Yeah.
KV line. The biggest I've heard of is a 345 that runs through our area. And now they're talking about putting a 700. It was in there, 760, a double size
Yeah.
line from west to east.
Bruce Nysky came to Gillespie County. Yeah, they're, once they get the batteries in order to get the power from West Texas in, there's gonna be just tons and tons and tons, thousands of miles of additional transmission lines. Yeah, that's the next thing. The batteries are not the end of it.
Yeah. And I don't have an objection to transmission path.
But,
Current,
now looking at this from just a logical standpoint, and not even just engineering, but engineering logical standpoint, when you have the big power demand facilities, you want to put the source
Sure.
right as close as possible.
Agree.
And so they're doing this all completely backwards.
Yeah.
In order to create an issue that doesn't really help anything.
Right.
The batteries don't help them power up their facilities at all. Yeah, the real solution is if they want these high demand buildings, and the other side of it is you can locate them anywhere. They don't need to be in Austin. They could put them out in the middle of nowhere. Why is it that they decide they have to locate them there? Is it just because they feel like they have to go in and out, and then they have to be able to go to the Austin nightlife? I mean, none of this makes any sense at all, the way they're coming at it.
Well, they don't want the regulation that's in the cities.
But yeah, so the AI centers, the data centers especially, I mean, I worked in the cloud. And there's nothing there. It's just rows and rows of racks of equipment.
They consume an awful lot.
They could stick that next to whatever power source they're gonna have and then just visit it on the internet.
Sure.
Well, this is a question that I had, and it actually came out of the Hood County Commissioners meeting. Because, I mean, I kept, it's always stressed that the reason we have to have these vests is to stabilize the grid and for, the reliability of the grid in case we get another snowmageddon or heat waves.
It won't help us.
And peak loads, when we have bad weather. Well, I cannot figure out how that is going to be, what business model is that for spending $81 million to build a vest when you just have to provide reliability when there's bad weather, that doesn't make sense.
That's not the game.
So that's not the game, and what is the game?
That
It's
is-
AI, and also it's cryptocurrency mining. And now it probably won't be the case so much, but EV vehicles and there's other types of, but especially cryptocurrency mining and AI. And I think we need to make that more, I mean, it's actually mentioned in these resolutions. I think that needs to be emphasized more because we're being asked to bear the risks for providing electricity to AI and cryptocurrency mining that isn't gonna help us at all if we've got, it's not about peak load even, it's nothing.
It is solar power that's driving the requirement for battery energy storage systems. Because it's reliably unreliable. Every
That's what
day,
they're
the
saying.
sun goes down and they need to replace the power that solar panels were generating during daylight. And that's the only way economically it makes sense, because they are going to be drawing the power down every day.
Right.
I think that's a good question for ERCOT. What is driving the demand? Publicly, they have stated it is solar and wind, and they're trying to meet that gigawatt demand. I haven't heard about cryptocurrency and AI being an unnatural, if you will, or
Well,
an extra demand.
it's just a growing demand
needs
overall.
satisfied. Yeah, I agree, but I have not heard ERCOT say it.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I'd like to.
in Hood County, they have a cryptocurrency mining plant. And so that's why
Hmm.
this came up. And by the way, that's not the only problem with it. They're having sound frequency issues. But anyway,
well,
that's something I actually wanted to put on the agenda. If we could, know more about the need and the business model of these. It's not directly related to alternatives, but just for our own understanding, what is it?
Yeah.
What's the real need?
We also, I spoke with a engineering company in Bernie. And one of the vice presidents told me that in a power outage, they cannot upload power. It is not to help in a power outage.
Right. But that's how it's being sold.
and even
Right.
that would only be for 4 hours worth max.
Right.
Bruce Knightsky, Gillespie County again. Yeah, actually in Harper, when they made their presentation, when Peregrine made their presentation, they wrote it out. It is not for emergency power. They stated it.
They stated that.
Sure.
Yes, I mentioned that, but I had a question. Is this battery storage in Harper still alive? It sounds like
What-
the project.
We've got things in process that I don't want to go into
Okay.
at this point, but
Okay.
It is still on the ERCOT.
they're
It's
planning.
on ERCOT's.
Yeah.
Yes, it's on
Okay.
ERCOT's list is in planning
Okay.
and progressing, and they have, I can't recall if they have a date yet. I'd have to go back.
We may be having an event on the 24th in which we would like to have as many people show up as possible. But that's not set yet.
Okay.
Yeah, rumors have floated around that something happened and it was going away, but.
Well, something
no,
did happen.
anything.
So, but I'll just have to leave it there.
We will. Okay. That was one of the things on my
Yeah.
to-do list was to find out. Okay.
Where does that leave us?
Administrator? Administrator?
Well, summing up on the legislative issues, I mean, we kind of discussed, we would look into whether we could issue a resolution in support of some or all of the current bills that are being proposed. I also talked about trying to maybe have a presence at one of the, what's the name of the group that's,
Are you referring to the symposium this week
no,
or the group that's,
no,
Wait,
in the legislative.
the
group.
Edwards?
Oh, State Fair.
oh, state
Yeah, State
affairs?
Affairs, thank
State
you. I gotta
affairs.
make it. State Affairs. We could perhaps plead our case with them.
Will
So I
you
think,
keep us updated when that, can you help us know when the timing would be for the bill to have us come and
Okay, speak.
I know you're busy.
But there is an opportunity, after the symposium closes on the 19th, they are going to give out information that you need when you approach legislators' offices. And they're going to encourage people, leave the symposium, go blanket the Capitol with this information. And of course, a face-to-face is worth a great deal. But they're going to have one-sheeters, which is the best way to, hey, you know, we're in support of this. We want you to take a look at this. This is important. You know, so they're going to be making that effort on the 19th.
19th of March.
Yes, that's this week,
Actually, I
Thursday.
Go anywhere.
I'm
That's Wednesday.
scheduled.
Is
to
it
be there.
Wednesday?
I'm scheduled to be there on the 19th.
Great,
Wish I
great.
You know,
committed to that day.
I haven't actually been able to find that online.
I put it on, I think it's on, it's on my Facebook page, and then I sent it here and was hoping it would get maybe on your website.
Yeah, I didn't.
They are asking for reservations. It's free, but it's limited to 150 people just because that's the amount of space they have. Is there somebody I should send it to?
I would like if you would send it to me,
Well, I'll tell you,
and then maybe I can send it out. You can't just say it right now?
Oh, here, I can send you.
Yeah, let me,
do you have,
I have the PDF.
yeah,
if you could post it on the website,
okay, right, that was, it's,
then everybody could see it.
the reservation line, I can give you that right now. If you want that.
I don't know, is it?
Secure Texas Grid. That's pretty easy. Secure Texas Grid at Proton, PROTON .me. And that will give you a place to put in your reservation for the 19th. And I will send this to, who would post something on your website?
I will. I don't mind.
All right. I guess that brings us to administrative matters. I don't know if there's really anything to discuss. I just have it on the agenda as a placeholder in case.
Well, I actually, you had homework on this, right? Under
So you're
administrative
looking
matters?
at 501c3.
Yes.
I don't have information yet. Mr. Blumenfalk has not gotten back with me, but I am checking. So I still,
Pending.
it is pending.
Okay, well, and then I have a question about administrative matters. That's where I think it fits. And it's a question because, I mean, from as long as I've been hearing about our commission, what I've heard is that we can't ask anything from the counties. We can't even use their sound equipment. We
Pretty
can't
much.
ask them for
But we are using
their room.
offices. We can use their, facility, but we can't use any staff
Right.
system per se.
And on the other hand, we can't take donations because we have to have a 501c3 for that. And so it looks like we're like totally hamstrung, like if we want to get experts here or whatever. And so y'all have worked on this for a long time, and I know you know the answer,
we-
but
we-
I did,
We could take donations. We just haven't set it up yet. Good,
they wouldn't be tax exempt.
right.
That's the advantage of having the
Of course.
501c3. But, I mean, I didn't go through it with a fine tooth comb, but I did look at the interlocal agreement. I looked at the 391 subset section. and our bylaws, and I honestly could not find where we are restricted to that extent on our funding. And I wondered if you would just tell me where that is, because we're even required to make a budget, like, and I don't see that the counties are restricted.
They are not, but the concern is that if you accept any money from the county or the state or the feds, it makes you subject to audit and all of a sudden, not just audit, but
We're,
the,
we are subject to audit, anybody.
well, if you don't spend any money.
And also, we set a budget once a year, and you can't add an item to a budget when you're in the existing year, so.
So are we gonna have to set a budget that's still under administrative?
I mean, we could if there's a need. And again, we can raise funds.
Yes.
That's perfectly okay.
So
Just,
basically,
you know, whether it's tax exempt.
right. But the source of this restriction on our activities, because we don't want to submit ourselves to any kind
Or
of.
to control for that matter. We don't want,
Right,
we don't want
Okay.
this
okay,
state
Good.
oversight.
okay.
And that's Dan Byfield with America. Students
You recommended that.
strongly recommending that we not accept any state or federal grants or funding of any type.
Okay, because yeah, I mean, it seems like a serious, I mean, at the moment, it doesn't matter, but if we need to bring experts
Yeah.
and stuff like.
Well, but again, if we can utilize teams, I mean, that's no
Yeah.
significant cost, so we can get people to testify via teams, why not?
Yeah.
If they're requiring payment for their testimony, that's a little bit different, but I'm gonna guess we could probably rope in most people without it.
So, okay, that was my question on administrative. Not me.
Good. All right, what else?
Can we make sure that the bylaws are signed?
Yes, yes.
Administrative,
Because they
while Linda's here. What? We're gonna have to sign the bylaws. Oh,
There.
there you go.
And what, not I mean,
Thank you.
Probably
What
blue.
is the 500 yard? What is the 500 yard kick?
here, yeah, blue.
Here.
You have a blue?
It's not the bold blue, but it's blue.
Let you sign it.
Thank you.
Oh, I did.
I'll see Wes tomorrow. Guess we just lost our audience.
I think he will be back.
Oh. Okay, so. Any other administrative matters? Let's, talk about the next meeting date.
Okay.
There's
I would
any
like-
special things to put on the agenda for consideration. I suspect we're gonna hear something back fairly soon from at least TCEQ that they may propose a date to meet based on my conversation with them, so that's one issue. And of course, I have no idea which date. We gave you some recommended dates, but one was today and that's already passed. So the next one is, I guess, the 28th, 2 weeks from today. But they may propose an alternative. I don't know.
Well, I would like
What
to,
would you suggest?
what if we say 2 weeks, and if we have to, we could meet sooner,
Sure.
because 2 weeks seems to work well.
Yeah.
For our schedules. But I would like to propose Thursday instead of Friday. I can't make Fridays work anymore.
Okay.
So. if you
Generally,
wanna
it's
meet-
okay with me.
If you want to meet,
Would that be March?
So that would be the 27th, I
yes,
think.
on the
Let's
20th.
double check.
March 27th.
Fine.
Right now,
What
I'm wide open.
time? I have a conflict in the afternoon. Talk a little bit about 3.
Okay.
So
Well, I mean,
can we
It
do it?
doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be at 2 in the
Yeah.
afternoon. It could be in the morning. The next one
Okay.
is scheduled to be Kendall. You,
No.
you're no good.
No good. On 27th. I've looked already.
All right.
Uh,
About the 26th.
Chad still with us?
Yeah.
Chad, do you have a conflict on the 26th of March?
Is that a Wednesday?
Yes.
Those are usually not good for me, but what time are you proposing for this?
And it,
What's your preference? We don't have a set time.
yeah, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
Kendall County,
If we can do it right at noon, that would be great.
When?
noon.
You. Or me.
I
You-
juggle
you know, obviously-
between, yeah, I juggle
You-
between my office and commissioner's
Oh,
court,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
You cannot,
No, I have a San Antonio appointment at 1 PM. Sorry.
okay, what about,
I can do 4.
and I'm out of the country from the 1st through the 10th of April.
okay,
But look, group can have meetings. We're never gonna have everybody present.
Yeah.
So. I-
How long will you pick a lunch?
10 days.
so
First through-
yeah,
I
that
think
last
first
week
through the
would be
10th
good.
of April. But any of those days in March, I can make, so.
Jennifer,
Uh-huh.
can you do morning on Friday? Like first thing?
I guess,
I'm off on Fridays. That's why I was asking about Fridays.
and I can't on the 28th at all in the morning.
Or
Or how about, well, what about the 21st? That would be a week. You're gone
no, I'm not gone. I just think that's
to,
Might be too early.
that's too early. Yeah.
I mean, unless somebody comes back and proposes that we have our first coordination meeting, then
Well,
I think we all need to make an effort to try to
right.
meet with,
that's,
but in the absence of that, to just have another meeting like this, I think 1 week is too soon.
I agree.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well,
What about Wednesday morning?
Which day are you
the
talking?
26, sorry.
You can't do, can you do the morning chat on the 26th?
Yes,
All right.
Well-
Moving.
I'm available.
Are you available on the 26th?
Yes.
And
So what
Okay.
what does morning mean? What time?
10 o'clock.
sounds good.
Chad, 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock's fine. We can also do evening meetings, that's
That's true. We
that's
could.
an option. We doesn't have to be during the day.
I'm not opposed.
Well, let's lock in this one. And then if we can't, in the future, if we can't pick a date, let's say evenings. And we're gonna have this at Kendall County.
Yeah, March
Mm-hmm.
26th.
10 o'clock AM.
Yeah,
Going
yeah, yeah.
once.
Well, assuming we're still recording, then we have a witness.
Yes, we do. I actually have made sure
Okay,
several times.
all right.
Do we have any other potential meetings? So I had another potential block date, SRPC.
We had said initially that we were gonna try to have some tentative, and that's what that was, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's nothing else that's been set.
Sure. Oh, if they came back,
We had talked about trying to keep it open on Fridays. every
Friday, March
Yeah.
21st, we had open.
Yes.
right,
And we put some invites out there.
right.
Should we take that off the schedule now?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Because that's just next week. The fact that we met today, I think every 2 weeks
Okay, just want to make sure.
at most.
Yeah, we did, I put
I
possible
don't-
next.
Yeah, so I would say, fine, we'll go ahead with Wednesday, March 26th, 10 a.m., Kendall County.
Okay,
You know, unless we hear from one of the agencies that we're trying to coordinate with, and then they ask that we try to do everything we can to accommodate their schedule.
yeah, I,
We'll see.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
any other business?
Well, I was gonna, under next meeting, talk about agenda
Yep.
items. And I already mentioned a couple, but one is it possible to have something like a standard agenda item, like for new business, announcements, because like I had several things I wanted to announce, like the Hood County Commissioners thing. I did it, of course. But there was another one, which was also on Tuesday this week. I'm sure you probably know that the Kerrville City Council unanimously adopted a proposal from from K-Hub to build its own, generating plant.
Right.
And, that's not, that does kind of fit into the landscape. It's just an example that
Yeah.
it would be, it's different from public comment.
I
And
got you.
could we do something like
We
just
could
like that? And
What do you
also,
want to call it?
announcements like this,
Just
like this
announcements.
here. My new, my.
That's what Texas, all right, okay.
Oh.
It's under administrative.
I like that.
I'm gonna have some bumper stickers.
I like it.
Is that
that's good.
legal? Like, are you able
To
to
what?
have something as an agenda item as new business in the government without stating?
What it
Yeah,
is,
I'm not sure.
or announcements?
But it's kind of like what we do in our commissioner court meetings. We have input and updates from each commissioner, for example.
Sure.
And that's where a lot of
Absolutely.
announcements get made.
Uh-huh,
Gotcha.
So and it's not an agenda item, but it's certainly part of the protocol of each of our commissioner court meetings. I'd have to look at our agenda and see if it's actually in there.
okay.
It might be called commissioner input or something. I don't.
I
we
think
have
that's,
public
I
input.
think we should have that in there.
Or additional
So-
business or something like that.
Yeah.
Because we may have each had individual action that you're not aware about, certain
Right.
meetings, certain people that may have been.
Okay, exactly,
influenced.
So,
Gives a chance.
I mean, maybe we should just put board member input
right, yeah.
as part of the meeting. And then the only question is, can we do it at the front?
Up front.
Okay. That's easy. Let's do that.
I like that.
And then I had one, this is not for the next meeting, but it's kind of, I'd like to put it in the pipeline as an agenda item, which is kind of like an intelligence report. It seems like you do the intelligence reports, and that is just for a briefing about how the changes and, the political changes, the shifting sands political situation is going to affect our work in this, because
Yeah.
that was.
Federal nexus.
Huh? Federal nexus, yeah, and even state,
Oh, I'm seeing it right now in different federal nexus impacts.
right,
I
and
think we will. see
would that be
it.
something,
I just don't know if that should be a separate agenda item, or is that part of
That
that?
should be, that's
The
gonna
board
be
member,
it's pretty,
what would you want, what
in depth.
would you want to call it?
Impacts.
changing political
Impacts
landscape.
of the new administration. On energy.
Let's broaden it.
Broader than that.
Well, I mean, for example, legislative updates, but instead of saying legislative updates, have an agenda item that would kind of cover all the above.
It's kind of
In
the
other words-
political climate. how the
Yeah,
political climate,
legislative things are political, aren't they?
yes.
I'm just throwing it out.
Well, some type of impact, okay. You know, what we can expect in terms of changes to the regulatory system as a result of the political shifts and. Yeah. Anyway, I just want to put it in the pipeline.
As a regular agenda.
No,
Okay,
no.
single.
A single
A single-
intelligence brief.
Oh, I thought we were talking about a regular.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because I thought we were talking about single opinions. You're talking about an in-depth single brief,
Right.
not a part of the regular. agenda.
I put it here because I didn't know where
Yeah.
else to put it.
Well, we could put it under the, it can, if someone wants to add that, that can be under the
Well,
board
it's just,
member.
yeah, but if you're gonna add it,
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is a real, like, his style intelligence. report.
yeah,
One single agenda item at a future meeting,
Yeah, let's.
you know.
I agree.
well, I mean, in a way, that's an intelligent
Yeah,
update, because if
oh,
intelligence would include political
yes,
development,
that's what I thought.
political developments.
Yeah,
But yeah, is it a standing or is it just whenever we think we have enough and somebody's ready to do it?
we can be both, but what I was thinking of was an in-depth, single briefing.
Yeah.
A deep dive into.
Yes,
Yeah.
So, okay, well, make that.
at a future,
Okay.
not next time, but,
No,
Well, whenever it's ready.
okay.
Okay, very good. Any other business?
sure.
Get ready to put that. I have one
Thank-
question. I
Okay.
think we skipped public comments. Did you have
Oh.
any other comments? I just wanted to make sure that you got, I'm glad
Sure.
you're able to interact and I'm so glad you came.
I got enough in, thank you.
So glad.
And
Yeah,
could
great,
you
thank you.
spell your last name? Your-
Knightsky, and N is in North, E, T is in Tom, Z is in Zebra, K,
Glad we asked.
Okay.
I'm not how I was gonna spell it.
I got it off of the
All right.
sign in
You
from last
had it
time.
right.
It is 3:55 and our meeting is now adjourned, so you can
Thank you, Chad, for
Thanks.
joining us.
record.
Okay, 3:50.
I have one, thank you, chat. Thanks, guys.
We're signing
Wow.
off.
That case study.
This one's gonna be hard.
I'll talk to you, you got to run.
Well,
I work out California.
Stick with the high level point.
I didn't want
We
to
do
catch
not
up.
want to have
I guess
everything
another
that
time
was
you
said.
better.
This is
Yeah.
gonna be on the
Please
website.
call.
People can go back and
Going
watch
right
it
down
if they
to
want to see
Right.
exactly what was said.
Yes.
It's just, what actions did we take?
853
Focus on,
Okay.
did we actually?
6995.
Anyway.
Who made a motion? Who seconded?
Appreciate
And the result was
Yeah.
unanimous approval.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Otherwise, I had to be
you know,
there.
well, you know, you can just highlight, this topic was discussed without getting
Right.
into what we
Right.
said. So
Thank you
Bruce,
for
wait,
joining us.
whoa. Before you leave now, you can't say anything in an open record meeting, but
Hold on just.
what's going on with that project? Can you
Okay, is
say
everything off?
anything more? Everything's off.